of La Penta, it's WICR. This is the all-new WICR. We're now on Live 365 and Ustream.com. Just search WICR and like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/WICR, Iona College Radio.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Iona College Radio, WICR. This is Today with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Dave Horvath.
And now we have some Oscar buzz, or the winners, and our opinions on and thoughts on who won. And yeah.
So I'll start us off. First, Dad, I hear you out there. It may not be till tomorrow, but I want to wish my mother a happy 50th birthday. Big day for her tomorrow. She turns a big 50, half century. Jeez, Mom, where's time going? So I hope you're listening in. I got a little laugh out of that. And listen, you're only on live air, so don't get too embarrassed.
Happy birthday.
So over to the Oscars. I'm going to start off with Chris Rock. I think he did a great job hosting it. I think what he said was correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think the funniest thing he had to say was when he's like, people told me to boycott the Oscars because of the issue with the African American people not getting nominations. I had an issue with that personally. When we get closer, I'll talk about more. But I think if you go see, I really recommend everyone go see Beast of No Nation featuring Idris Elba. He should have been nominated for Best Actor. Would he have won? Maybe not. But he should have been nominated for Best Actor because he was fantastic in Beast of No Nation. I'm telling you right now, if you want to go see a movie that is, you're going to walk out of the theater and go, wow, he was fantastic. And you can always make the argument, too, Will Smith in Concussion was also fantastic. But I'll tell you, the one nomination I had the biggest issue with was Beast of No Nation, Idris Elba. Recommend it. Go see it. He should have been nominated for Best Actor. But I think Chris Rock did a really good job, hosting the Oscars. I think it's funny. Hey, if I boycotted, we would have had Neil Patrick Harris back. So I thought that was a funny little jab at Patrick Harris. He mentioned, hashtag white Oscar only, and he took it what the Oscars did, which is true. The Oscars were extremely white this year.
Mm-hmm.
There were some issues. Some movies should have been nominated that weren't.
Right.
The Oscars don't always get it right. But I will tell you, this year they did mess up. There were, like I said, Idris Elba, Will Smith. You can argue those two. I know people talk about Straight Outta Compton. It should have been nominated. None of the guys should have ever gotten nominations. None of the actors deserved a Best Nom.
Yeah.
Best Picture, probably not. I think what they got was what they definitely deserved. Maybe you really could have made an argument. I know people are angry about that. But movies like that don't usually get nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
And they just don't. And I'm sorry. You can get angry at me all you want, listeners, but that's just the truth. But we're going to start off with the winners. So for live action short, we had Shudderer, that one. For documentary short, The Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness won. So congratulations to those two. Animated short was Bear Story. Documentary feature was Amy, based off of Amy Winehouse. Also congratulations to those two. Animated feature was Inside Out. I did not see it. I know people loved Inside Out. They said it had great job overall. I know that was a big thing by Amy Poehler. But, Matt, I'm going to let you take it away into the next couple.
All right. And foreign language film was Son of Soul in Hungary.
Yeah, it came from Hungary. So congrats. Yeah. The first, just a little factor, the first Hungarian film to win an Oscar. So pretty cool for them. Congratulations.
That's awesome, yeah. And for Best Song was Writings on the Wall from Spectre, Jimmy Napes and Sam Smith.
They performed that at the Oscars, too, which it was Sam Smith. I'll tell you, talk about transformation of that man. That man went from looking like just a little guy, and I don't know, when I saw him there, I was like, wow, this man looking sharp right now. And, he came out, and he was technically also the first openly gay man to win an Oscar. So I know that was in his speech, he was saying, there will be more. And congratulations to Sam Smith and Jimmy Napes. Great song.
Yes.
Writing on the Wall, fantastic.
And also for score, the Hateful Eight won. Ennio Morricone, that was the actor. Sound mixing was Mad Max, Fury Road, Chris Jenkins, Greg Rudloff, and Ben Osmo.
Okay. The sound editing was also by Mad Max Fury Road, by Mark Mangini and David White. Congratulations to those men. Makeup was also Mad Max Fury Road. As you'll see a trend in this, Mad Max won quite a few. That was by Leslie Vanderwalt, Alka Denga, sorry if I said your name wrong, and Damian Martin. Costume design was Mad Max Fury Road by Jenny Beavan. And visual effects, which a movie I just watched, very good, I will say, people go see this really well done film, was Ex Machina by Andrew Whitehurst, Paul Norris, Mark Edgerton, and Sarah Bennett.
All right, for film editing, it was Mad Max Fury Road, and it was Margaret Sickle. Production design was also Mad Max Fury Road. It was Colin Gibson and Lisa Thompson for set direction specifically. In cinematography, it was The Revenant, and it was Emmanuel Lubinski.
And by note with him, this is his third straight Oscar he's won for cinematography. So I will say, if you want, if anyone who's involved in any of the major production companies or major studios, you should probably look into this man, because this man knows what he's doing. And I know,
Right.
I know, Mr. We'll talk later, but he's really Alejandro Inarritu, the director from The Revenant, has used him now in the last two films he's done. He also won in Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity. Really, Emmanuel Lubinski really knows what he's doing, and I think people need to finally take notice. The man is a winner.
And then original screenplay was Spotlight. It was Josh Singer and Tom McCarthy. So that was good.
Me? Okay, so the adapted screenplay was The Big Short by Charles Randolph and Adam McKay. Fun. I have to see The Big Short. I heard it's quite a cool film. Supporting actress winner was Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. By the way, I'm just gonna throw it out there. She looked fantastic at the Oscars. I mean, I saw she also stars in Ex Machina as the robot. So you look from that to then you watching The Danish Girl. She's beautiful, and I think she wore a it was a Louis Vuitton dress.
Right.
Fantastic. I mean, and I was funny. I watched a little video of her after she won. She's backstage. 'Cause after you win at the Oscars, sometimes you go back and sit down and watch. But if you win early enough, sometimes you leave and walk around. And she was introducing herself to all these other famous people, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm Alicia." And they're like, "Oh, we know who you are." And the look on her face, she's like, "Oh my God, people know me." And it was it was one of the funniest things, I think.
Yes.
Best Supporting Actor went to Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, the great stage actor. Now he finally got his first Academy. The man already has 3 Oliver Awards under his belt and 2 Tony Awards. So, and he's nominated now. He actually on Monday he got nominated for another Lawrence Oliver Award, which is the stage acting in London. So he's one of the greatest stage actors of his generation, our generation. And it's funny because he's originally from England. He's moved here when he was 2 with his parents and grew up here. But he's quite the amazing man.
All right. So the next thing, actress was Brie Larson, Room, for that movie Room, and then best actor.
Best supporting.
I was about to say support. How could I say that? Best actor was Leonardo DiCaprio for his role in The Revenant. That was an excellent movie. It was a little graphic at times, but you really were able to appreciate the beautiful surroundings and areas in all throughout the United States. It was beautiful scenery.
And you know what they had to do? They had to actually go down to Canada, the Argentina, the southernmost part of Argentina, Chile.
Yes.
Because there was not enough snow.
Right.
And Leo, if you listen to his speech, he talked about how that's the biggest issue. He says
And
we're going
climate
to
change.
And he actually spoke at the UN not that long ago in front of everyone talking about climate
Right.
change. That he's a big activist for that. And I'll tell you one thing right now is that's an issue we have to take into account, because the one thing that was amazing about The Revenant, and I'm just going to take this film out and talk about Best Director. Best Director was Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant. I think he deserved it the most. I mean, he's done back-to-back years now. Won for Birdman last year, now wins in this. The movie was only shot in natural light, which really blows my mind. There was no light. People go, oh, well, that makes sense. When you're shooting a movie, you're usually adding in extra light, or you're using just a little bit. You may not think it, but a little bit. The movie was shot only with the sun and the moon. And if they build a campfire, there was no at nighttime. They didn't use any special lighting to give
Right.
it. It was only shot. So the biggest issue was there was no snow. And they
Yeah.
started off. They were shooting in Canada, and it melted too early, so they had to go down to Chile, and that's something they talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm just gonna finish this off with Best Picture movie. I was not surprised. People said, "Oh, The Revenant." Revenant didn't have was obviously a pretty simple story, and the Academy likes more, in a little in depth more. And it was Spotlight by Tom McCarthy. Congratulations. He directed it. I have to go see it. I've been saying I wanted to see this for a while. It's
Yeah.
the movie off of the Boston Globe when they
Right.
came out and said the whole Catholic Church and the scandal. And it's interesting because they, in their acceptance speech, when the producers of the film were accepting it, they made a call out to Pope Francis during their acceptance speech.
And I have to say, I don't have the exact quote with me, but after they did that shout out to Pope Francis, the Vatican did respond with a quote, and from what I heard, they were
applaud-
praising
yes.
the movie because it shedded light on this whole
And
scandal.
but it showed it correctly. It didn't.
Right.
It didn't. Where when this actually happened, everyone just looked, oh, everyone in the Catholic Church, all
Yeah.
the priests and that, and they in the movie, Tom McCarthy did it very correctly. He showed it with fairness.
and objectivity, and he was non-biased, he was neutral, which was really good. It didn't in a way like slam the Catholic Church or criticize them, so I was glad to see that. But yeah, I mean, I was so glad that Leonardo
finally got it.
DiCaprio finally won an Oscar. I mean, after all these years.
It's funny. I don't know if you saw. No, it was the next day I was watching, and they said they've been waiting, since for years. Leo's been nominated for quite a bit.
Right.
And he did deserve it. I know it was one of those films. I was surprised. I think the overall winner of the night would be, you say Leo wins. I say Spotlight, because Spotlight also won Best Original Screenplay. Tom McCarthy won that, and people don't realize Open Road Films, the distributing company of this, has only been open for about 4 years. So they're a very young distribution company. They were going against Buena Vista and Paramount and Columbia Pictures and bigger. Studios have been around for years. You talk about years, and they won. That's a huge win for them. I also have to say, I think Ex Machina wins, pulling in the visual effects, because they're not expected to win. That's for A24, another small distribution company. They've only been open since around for 3 years. They got their Academy Award. Obviously, I think the biggest one of the night has to be
Yes.
Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Mad Max, and people, like, wow, I don't have to go see it because it won all these awards. Yes, no, I'm not winning makeup. I thought it was going to go to Revenant personally because of what the transformation Leo
right.
went through.
Mhm.
But I do see, because I saw Mad Max. Now, Mad Max is a strange film, do not get me wrong. But George Miller did a absolutely fantastic job making this Mad Max, giving female empowerment. It's one of those films, you think it's about Max, but it's not. And I really tell you have to go see it because it's great.
Right.
And it honestly, sound mixing, I thought maybe you'd see Star Wars pull it in, but then again, the Academy doesn't really like sequels, which is funny because Mad Max is a sequel too at the same time. But makeup, it won makeup, and it won editing, mixing. It won what's it called? Production design. It won costume design.
It basically won everything.
It won all the smaller awards, but
Yeah.
a lot of people got Oscars from it. Congratulations to all of them. Obviously, I'm gonna go with The Revenant 2 winning for my opinion 3 of the biggest categories, winning Best Director,
Right.
Best Cinematographer,
Yep.
and Best Actor. Brie Larson, I have to see Room now because I need to see her performance in it. But
Me too.
I heard she was fantastic. I'm interested to watch The Danish Girl now because reading about it, it was a strange film. It's where Eddie Redmayne, got the first procedure done where he went from being a man to a woman. So that's why it's The Danish Girl, and Alicia Vikander's character is, with him by his side through all this. So probably go see that. Bridge of Spies is based off a true story. It's funny that the best pictures were all true stories or true events. So, I think, people say, oh, it was a shock that Spotlight won. I go back to that. I don't think so.
No,
I don't think Revenant was the best picture. A lot of people said that, oh, because it gets Best Director, Best Picture. No, I think the way it was shot was the best of any of them. Granted, I still have to see Spotlight, but I think just the way I will always praise. I've praised it since the minute I saw it. The opening scene of The Revenant, maybe one of my favorite all-time opening scenes. Just the way it was shot, and this goes back to the director and cinematographer. The way it was framed and everything, just it blew my mind. I just loved it. I just the way it goes over the water. I just tell you, you have to. If you haven't seen The Revenant, I really say go see it because Leo kills it again. Finally got his Oscar. You know, it's kind of like a couple years ago when Matthew McConaughey finally won for Dallas Buyers Club.
Yep.
People kind of said, hey, this man has had the ability to act. He just hasn't, really taken a role yet. Granted, Leo's had these roles that he should have won for. He just hasn't in the past. Now he finally got the win, and good for him. Congratulations, Leo. Congratulations, Revenant. Congratulations, Brie.
Yeah, I mean, with Leonardo, I haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, but this is an oldie. But the Titanic, that was.
Listen, he was how old in that movie? 18, and he was great in that film.
Yeah,
he's been great since the day he got started. Great the Raps. Just talk about that. He was like a little kid in that film, and he was like fantastic. It's been a long time coming for Leo. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Brie Larson. Congratulations to Alicia Vikander, Mark Ryans. I mean, all the major awards. Congratulations to everyone at Open Roads Films winning Spotlight. Congratulations to Alejandro Inarritu. I'm gonna really look to see your next film now. I would love to figure out if I could find a way to work with him. If I could find a way to be his understudy or something, because that man knows what he's doing, and I want to learn from him. Same thing with Emmanuel Lubinski. The two of them. Last year he was the first Mexican director to win. Now he's won 2 Oscars. I mean, it's fantastic. They know what they're doing, and obviously there's something that some of these directors have figured out. Because whatever they're doing is working. Because when you get nominated every single year, I mean, listen, you can even argue, look, Bridge of Spies really didn't get many. You got Best Supporting, but it's like Steven Spielberg. It's funny. You have a year where Steven Spielberg wasn't nominated, and it's like, wow, there was that many good films that knocked Steven Spielberg out of nomination.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all, and that's all our time for today. And thank you for listening to all of our viewers, all of our listeners, and we'll see you right back here next week for show number 3 here on WICR Iona College Radio. This is Today with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Ricker.
And I'm Dave Horvath.
And have a good weekend.
Happy birthday, Mom.